Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pink on the program. Despite warnings on its potential side effects and lack of approval from health authorities, a congressman is standing by his plan to distribute the anti-parasitic drug Ivermectin for COVID-19 treatment. But what is Ivermectin, and why are other doctors showing support for its use against COVID-19? Food and Drug Administration Chief Eric Domingo and Dr. Benigno Agbayani, President of the Concerned Doctors and Citizens of the Philippines, join us live. The debate heats up over Ivermectin use. Government officials tell advocates of the anti-parasitic drug Ivermectin to wait for the Food and Drug Administration's approval first before urging the public to use it as an alternative treatment to COVID-19. Earlier, Anak Kalusugan Party List Representative Mike Defensor expressed the plan to make Ivermectin accessible to the sick and elderly residents of Quezon City. This despite warnings and the possibility of violating relevant laws. Other congressmen have also been openly promoting the use of Ivermectin. An infectious diseases expert, however, warns that high doses of Ivermectin could cause brain damage and even death. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have FDA Director General Eric Domingo. Yusek, it's good to have you again on The Source. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Hi, good morning, Pinky. Thank you for having me.
So, I've been wanting to talk about this. I'm glad you're on the show. So much talk on Ivermectin. So let's first try to understand the drug. I want to go that basic first. So it's an anti-parasitic drug. But there is Ivermectin for animals and there is Ivermectin for humans.
Yes, no, it's not a new drug. It's been used for parasitism for a long time. It's used for both in humans kasi and in animals, our pets. So there are human preparations and there are veterinary preparations. However, in the Philippines, yung registered lang na human preparation are lotions for skin parasites. There are no human versions that are registered with FDA in the Philippines. And the Ivermectin products that we have registered here are veterinary products, which we just warn people are not, safe and should not be used by people.
So it's good to clarify that there is an Ivermectin for animals. You're not supposed to use that at all for humans. Meron din po for humans, yung human grade pero topical, kumbaga para po siyang cream.
Oo. Sa ibang bansa, meron namang human na oral form na registered. Kaya lang dito sa atin kasi, matagal na lang walang nagre-register nito kasi nga it's not a very common drug that is prescribed by doctors at this time. But now, yun nga, pwede siya talagang i-register as an anti-parasitic drug.
Okay, so what is allowed so far in the country right now or approved by the FDA is just the animal grade, yung pong para sa mga hayop.
Yes, yun yung mga registered sa atin now na mga tablets and capsules.
So, would you say, Yusek, na kung meron mang, dahil meron nga na human grade dito na binebenta sa merkado, although, would you say that is illegal? Plain and simple.
Yeah, if it's being marketed na yung commercially, kasi it's either baka veterinary product na pinalitan ng packaging or smuggled. Kasi wala naman sa ating commercially available. Ang source lang ng Ivermectin capsule sa atin kasi Pinky would be the pharmacies who do what they call compounding, no? Meaning if a patient comes in with a prescription and then they can compound it and turn it into a capsule for you. But this is done on a per prescription basis. It's not a commercially available product.
So ang ibig sabihin nun, Yusek, pwede po ako pumunta sa doktor and the doctor can prescribe Ivermectin for me, and then somebody, a licensed manufacturer or pharmaceutical company, will be the one to make this product.
It's not a pharmaceutical company, it's a pharmacy, butika. May mga butika kasi tayo na meron silang license to do compounding. Parang yung old style dati na magdadala ng reseta tapos didikdikin ng pharmacist, gagawin niyang capsule. So meron pang ganyang activity mga pharmacists natin kasi may mga reseta yung mga doktor minsan na hindi naman readily available and the pharmacist has to mix this up. So pwedeng pumunta sa butika na merong compounding and then they can make it for you. Of course, the pharmacy assures that human grade yung ivermectin na gagawin.
At least sigurado tayo na human grade yun. So that is not illegal. So pwede po yun. Pwede po ako kumuha ng prescription sa doktor. I can go to a, let's say, I'll name it mercury drug, for example, and they can compound the drug for me.
Yes, that's true.
And there's nothing illegal about that.
No, there's nothing illegal about it. Kasi yung pharmacy na yun, nire-regulate din namin yun. So may strict record siya, kung sino yung mga reseta, kung ano yung reseta ang ginawa niya. Tapos kailangan ipakita niya sa amin yung quality control ng raw materials niya at saka yung end product niya. So nababantayan din naman natin yung mga pharmacy na nagko-compound.
Does it mean, Yusek, I can go pwede po ako pumunta sa butika at gagawin nila yun para sa akin?
Yes, so kung pwede niya kailangan pong alamin yung compounding pharmacy. For example, ang Mercury, meron nga yan, yung usually yung malalaking branches nila, yung merong compounding activity, tsaka license.
Okay. So let's go now to Congressman Mike Defensor. So pag meron pong magbigay ng reseta sa kanya, kasi sabi nga niya he wants to distribute this for free, but kailan may reseta ng doktor, yung pupunta po sa kanya at bibigyan niya nitong ivermectin at dapat may consent po ng pasyente, there is nothing illegal with what the congressman may do or will do.
Well, yung ano lang naman, dapat ang pasyente, syempre po, doktor ang magre-reseta. No? So kung meron naman doktor at may reseta, pero yung magdi-dispense ng gamot is always the pharmacist. No? Meron tayong pharmacy law kasi kahit ang doktor, hindi naman kami pwedeng mag-dispense ng gamot o magbenta ng gamot unless meron din akong butika na license. No? Pero ang pharmacist lang ang pwedeng mag-dispense ng gamot. So it has to be compounded for the patient and then the pharmacist will dispense the medicine to the patient.
So, but can the congressman have a doctor prescribe it and have the pharmacy compound this and then ibigay dun sa mga tao na magde-direct message sa kanya at pwede ho ba niya itong ipamahagi at wala po siyang magiging, this will not be unlawful?
Well, technically, kung susunod naman po dun sa patakaran na yung doktor ang magre-reseta tapos yung pharmacist ang magde-dispense, and that's not illegal.
Okay. So that takes away what is stipulated in the FDA law that, bawal po yung manufacture, distribution, etc. of non-registered drugs.
Opo, yung talagang distribution, bawa yung gagawa ka ng marami tapos dinidistribute yun or pinamimigay, bawal yun kasi unregistered drug yun. Yung compounding kasi talagang it's a per patient and per prescription basis.
Okay, let's talk about your thoughts on ivermectin. There's just so much talk, so much anecdotes. A group of doctors are saying, naku, wag niyo itong gamitin. A group of doctors naman swear by it. What is so bad about ivermectin that if we can take it as an anti-parasitic drug, gaano ho ba magiging kasama yun? How bad can it be for our body?
Well, yung possible kasi is wala siyang effect, no, I mean, if you want to use it to treat yourself with COVID-19 or to prevent it, hindi pa kasi po proven yung value. So if you take it thinking that you will get better or you're protected from a virus, tapos you become less careful and then you feel like you're invincible, then that would not be good. And of course, lahat naman ng gamot merong adverse events, may side effects, no, like itong neurological, possible gastrointestinal problems, especially in the higher doses, no, that is suggested to treat virus. Kasi yung anti-parasitic doses niya mababa lamang. And what we're saying is, this is not yet a proven drug. Let's just wait and see. The clinical trials now are ongoing all over the world. There are about, I think, more than 70 trials ongoing now. So kailangan lang hintayin natin. Kasi hindi natin pwedeng i-approve ang gamot hanggang hindi talaga convincing talagang very strong yung scientific evidence to support a new indication for an old drug.
Sabi nga ni Yusek Vergeres, sa mga doktor daw, the principle is do no harm. Yun ang unang-una. But in a situation na desperado po kasi yung mga tao, malaki pong posibilidad. There's a big possibility that people will take this as, you call it yung parang preventive prophylaxis. Congressman Mike Defensor said he takes it once every 2 weeks. So far, he's fine. You know, situations or experiences like that may entice people to actually take it as well bilang added protection siguro, Yusek.
Yeah, but kasi yung mga testimonials or anecdotal findings are not considered very strong scientific evidence. You only prove the use of a drug when you have a well-designed clinical trial, meron kang placebo arm, meron kang treatment arm, and then you check them regularly. In the same way that we develop all vaccines, all medicines, no? Yun lang naman ang sinasabi namin, it has to pass through that process and it has to be proven. Kasi kung irereseta na natin siya, tapos gagamitin na natin siya ng pangmalawakan, and we make it part of what we think is our COVID control program, tapos may mga magbabago, no, sa ating the way we act, the way we do things, the way we protect ourselves, and that is not going to be very helpful. Kailangan lamang naman natin ng strong evidence. Yun lang ang sinasabi natin. At hihintayin lamang natin bago po tayo makakapagbigay ng payo yung ating mga espesyalista.
Meron na pong nag-apply, Yusek, for the human grade. I think you had mentioned this a couple of days ago. What's the update on that?
Yeah, we did have a meeting with a pharmaceutical company, a local, who wants to manufacture. So nakausap naman nila yung regulators natin and they decided that the pathway they're going is really to apply for a certificate of product registration. No? Of course, as an anti-parasitic, kasi yan pa rin talaga yung approved use ng gamot na ito. And they promised that they are now collecting all of the requirements and the documents and will submit it once they've completed everything.
How long do you think this will take?
Well, it depends on them how long they will be able to complete their requirements. Pero once they've completed their requirements, our regulators have promised that they will be evaluated very quickly. Talagang pa-prioritize na. Kasi alam naman nating investigational drug siya talaga for COVID-19, although hindi pa nga proven kung ano yung effect niya or kung ano magiging extent ng value niya sa treatment of COVID-19. But since it is a drug that is being considered, our evaluators will give it priority once the submission is given na and complete na yung documents.
Do you guys feel some sort of pressure to be able to allow the distribution of the human grade ivermectin because of so much talk about it and its possibilities of probably preventing COVID-19?
Well, the pressure is always there. Kaya lang kasi the good thing about FDA is very very clear cut naman yung requirements when you're trying to register a drug. When it comes to safety and efficacy, parang checklist naman yan naka-layout talaga. So either kompleto ka lang, papasa ka or hindi. There's not a lot of room naman for pressure. I mean, siguro yung pressure para mabilisan, tsaka para maging mas expedited at faster yung process, no? But the criteria for approving is very clear and is set, and decisions are made based on that.
Sir, ano ho ba yung, kasi may nakikita ako on screen, may 3 milligrams, merong 15 milligrams. Ano ba ho yung sinasabi na delikado to if you overdose? What is an overdose of ivermectin?
Wala man may alam, yun ang problem, Pinky. Kaya yun yung problem natin. For example, dito, every doctor will prescribe it at a different dose or with a different na ibang protocol. Merong araw-araw, merong every week, merong ganyan. Hindi, kasi ngayon yung sinasabi natin, kaya napakahirap pa niyang i-approve ngayon. People don't even know yet at what dose it is used, at what regimen, how many times a day you take it. Lahat ng pag binasa natin yung mga ibang pag-aaral, iba-iba lahat ng dosage nila, no? Kaya napakahirap niya talagang i-reseta sa ngayon or i-endorse ng mga specialista kasi wala nang ebidensya pa to say which dose is best and what works where and what extent of what positive effect it will give your body kasi nga lahat ng mga pag-aaral iba-ibang dose and it's very difficult to set at what dose it should be used.
So the stand really of the FDA right now is wait until this will be allowed by the FDA until magpayagan po yung registration nung nag-apply for Ivermectin. Is that the stand right now of the FDA?
Yes, and it's not only our FDA, no. This is the stand of the US FDA, of the FDA of the European Union, and the WHO. Ito yung common, pag hinanap mo ba, WHO Ivermectin, ang makikita mo is that we do not recommend its use outside of clinical trials at this time.
Okay.
And this is the same as US FDA and Europe, no. Kasi nga, hindi pa tapos yung clinical trials, hindi pa natin alam kung paano siya gagamitin, kung kailan siya gagamitin, kung ano yung magiging effect niya. So, it would be irresponsible to give it to people right now without knowing exactly how to use it and what the effect will be. Hintayin lang po natin kung ano yung talagang lalabas sa mga clinical trial. In the same way na hinintay natin sa mga vaccine, hinintay natin sa ibang gamot, kahit yung dexamethasone na lumang-lumang gamot na kumpleto muna yung clinical trial gamitin routinely for COVID-19. Yun lang naman po ang sinasabi ng FDA.
Yusek, I want to talk about Sinovac because there's news that a panel of experts is actually now recommending or allowing the use of Sinovac doon po sa mga senior citizens. What's the latest on this?
Well, I think the situation kasi is that we are really only in the country and high transmission rate, especially in NCR, is alarming. So the Department of Health has asked us if they can use it in senior citizens. So I've had meetings with the experts and then with the adverse events committee, and we are collating all of these recommendations now so that we can come up with a recommendation. No? Ang problem lang kasi sa Sinovac, yung safety niya, mukhang naman yan, medyo established yung safety niya. Kaya lang hindi lang masyado tayong clear on how effective it is for senior citizens. That might not be as effective as it is for younger people. No? Kasi hindi very small yung nagamit nila na data. Na sample size na senior citizens sa mga clinical trial nila. So we're also asking for some updated data from the manufacturer and from the other countries, sa other countries na ginamit na yung senior citizens nila. And we are now considering this very, very seriously.
Undersecretary Eric, I apologize. No, I cannot hear you. I think there is something wrong with the audio coming from my end. Hindi ko po kayo marinig ngayon. So just the same, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show, sir, for being our guest today. Ayusin ko po yung audio while we go on a very short break. Thank you to FDA Chief Eric Domingo. We will be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Dr. Benigno Agbayani. He's president of the Concerned Doctors and Citizens of the Philippines. Dr. Agbayani, welcome to The Source and thank you for your time. Let me start with this. What is the finding on Ivermectin and its effect on COVID?
Okay, there are actually 80 scientific studies that's been done point a signal that it actually works to prevent as well as to treat COVID-19. There are now 25 randomized controlled trials that show that Ivermectin can both prevent and treat COVID-19. So that's basically what it is.
Where are these studies coming from?
This comes from all over the world. And they've been actually analyzed and collated on a 5 meta-analysis. And the 2 of the most popular ones are from Dr. Tess Laurie of the BIRD, or the British Ivermectin Recommendation Development. And the second one comes from FLCC. These are frontline doctors in the United States, headed by Pierre Corey, Dr. Pierre Corey. And he has appeared in the U.S. Senate to present his data there, but his paper is about to be published and accepted already.
Okay. If that is so, is it an acceptable drug in the United States to be used against COVID?
Actually, they had a change of heart, meaning from negative, they say that they were neutral around January. That is what the NIH said. So I think it's already March and more studies have come in. And from my point of view, as I am very much updated with the data and I've read all the meta-analysis, I conclude that it really works.
But it's still not being recommended for use in the United States. Let's be clear about that.
Yes, but we're not in the United States and we don't depend entirely on NIH recommendations. We use the scientific facts.
I understand, but you were stating studies coming from the United States. So that's why I was asking
that's
you clearly.
Not only from the US. Those studies are international. Japan,
Okay.
India, United Kingdom, all over the world.
So tell us now, Dr. Agbayani, why are you advocating the use of ivermectin? It's a parasitic drug. How can, in simple terms, how can a parasitic drug help combat COVID-19?
Oh, the drug itself is not parasitic, but it kills parasites. So it's an anti-parasitic. So that is how it was discovered around 40 years ago by Professor Satoshi Omura. However, because COVID-19 came about, there were some experiments done in vitro, meaning like test tube studies, where they actually found that it could kill the virus. So from then on, they started doing clinical studies. And as I mentioned, there are 80 studies that already show that it works.
So, sorry, I still don't understand. No, so okay, it's an anti-parasitic drug. How can an anti-parasitic drug combat the COVID-19 virus? What is in that formula of an anti-parasitic drug that can actually treat or fight COVID-19 virus?
Yeah, it's a chemical that comes from a bacteria that was discovered by Nobel Prize winner Satoshi Omura. And it kills these parasites perhaps in many ways. One is to improve the immune system or modulates the immunity of our bodies. But we have already determined that it can kill COVID-19 virus. So I think there are two other mechanisms where it can stop COVID-19. And the other two are, one, it modulates our immune response. Therefore, it strengthens our immune response and controls it and prevents what we call cytokine storm. The third is that it probably prevents the virus from getting to our cells. So those are the three mechanisms.
Okay, so it boosts our immune system and it prevents the virus from actually entering our system.
And kills the virus as well.
And kills it as well. Okay. There are people who've been taking this as, is it a cure or is it preventive?
It's
is it
both.
A prophylaxis?
It's both. The data on prevention is actually quite hard. It's very good, almost 90%. In fact, the WHO did not even want to comment on it, which is strange. We just saw a WHO recommendation on March 31, and they said they have no comment because they have not done a study, when in fact it's already available on the internet.
But Dr. Agbayani, why are other doctors saying there's not enough study? There's not a conclusive clinical trials on this yet. Hence, they caution against using this.
Yeah, as you say, knowledge is a powerful thing, but sometimes it's not enough knowledge could be dangerous or not helpful. So I do ask my colleagues to please read more. It's out there. I'm not saying I'm the most well-read person, but if you will only quote 7 randomized controlled trials, when in fact there are 25 randomized controlled trials, I think there's an issue about cherry picking. So I think we should really look at the whole thing. And may I ask them to read a recently published paper by Satoshi Omura, on the various aspects of of ivermectin on COVID-19, it's not a simple picture as just science. There are other factors that are playing as well.
Have you taken it?
Yes.
For how long and what milligrams?
Oh, because I'm a little heavy, I actually use it. I take about 30 milligrams, but I don't recommend that for everyone. You're not as heavy as me. I recommend 15 milligrams for prophylaxis every 2 weeks. And I only recommend it if you're high risk, or for example, in situations like we have a surge where most of us will be high risk. But the most important group that I would recommend it is for the elderly and the vulnerable, as well as the people around them.
Is it safe for seniors?
Yes, the same for seniors because, as you know, the mortality rate in seniors for COVID-19 is the highest. 80% of our deaths from COVID-19 are seniors or with comorbids.
Yeah, but did the clinical trials on ivermectin include seniors?
Yes. In fact, some studies actually show most of them are seniors because it's used for scabies. And they found out that people who had scabies among the nursing homes, apparently they're the ones that are not getting COVID-19 because they were given ivermectin.
Okay, so you take it. Where do you get it?
I got a sample from Dr. Alan Adrito back in February. And lately I'm getting from Dr. Homer Lim, who has a compounding pharmacy, which is legal, which is allowed by our FDA. And in fact, they had to correct their mistake of actually raiding his pharmacy for no reason at all. So we are asking for explanation for that. But so far, what they did is just gave back his license to manufacture or lift the suspension to make ivermectin again. So
you would give a prescription to anybody who goes to you after, of course, some initial checkup. This is something you would prescribe to somebody who will actually go to you.
I would prescribe it for anyone who looks like they have symptoms of COVID-19, and quite urgently, because it really works if you do it early. And if they get tested positive, I would continue it for about 3 to 5 days, and then every 3 days thereafter. There are people that I really recommend to take it as a prophylactic, which is once every 2 weeks, a very low dose for those who are elderly, vulnerable, and those surrounding people of this group. And we do have a surge, so it's very, very critical that we give this as a prevention and early treatment.
And because you take it as a prophylaxis, does this mean that do you still follow health protocols to the letter? I mean, lumalabas pa rin po kayo, mask, maybe even double mask with a shield. Ganon din po ba yun?
Oh, absolutely, because the protection is only about 90%. So 10% is still of a risk. But there are certain criticisms I have of other things that we are doing, like lockdowns, that I don't think really works. So yes, I do not want you to go out, drink, and be with friends, go in crowded places, just because you had ivermectin.
All right. Dr. Benigno Agbayani, thank you so much for your time. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.